A chat with John Mayall on This Sonic Obsession. Hi folks, I'm John Whidden. Right over there is Steve McLeod, and today on This Sonic Obsession, we're going to play an interview that I did with John Mayall, who just died a few days ago at the age of 90. Mayall was a pillar of the British blues scene. I think it's because of Mayall. I know it's because of Mayall and the many people that he played with over the years that many of us were exposed to blues. They took basically American music and played it in bands in Britain, and then it came back over across the pond and we got into it. I know it was because of Mayall and groups like Fleetwood Mac and other British blues bands that he was really, I think, responsible for nurturing many of the players anyway in those bands that I came to love the blues. I had never really even heard blues that much until I heard some of the British bands, right?
Yep.
And then that opened the door, and I went back and checked some of the American
groups.
Yeah,
it was the same for me. I never heard blues music before John Mayall.
Yeah.
With albums like this, and a lot of good collections back in the 60s had at least one John Mayall album. The Turning Point, this is an acoustic blues album that was recorded live at the Fillmore East in late 60s.
This is considered to be the classic, the Blues Breakers album with John Mayall with Eric Clapton. But, the number of people that went through his bands, I say, over the years, there was Peter Green from Fleetwood Mac, John McVie, Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac, Eric Clapton, of course, Andy Fraser, who played with Free, who helped form Free, Ainsley Dunbar, a great drummer who played with a lot of different people in Britain and then moved to America and played with, I believe it was the Jefferson Starship and Journey. The list goes on
Jack
and on.
Bruce from Cream.
Jack Bruce,
Later Cream.
John Heisman, Dick Hextall Smith, two musicians who later went on to form a great British group called Colosseum. Some of the American musicians who played with Mayall, Walter Trout, Sonny Landreth, Coco Montoya. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, he was the guy for me that brought blues music to a rock audience in the 1960s. Otherwise I would never have heard anything like that. And then it sort of morphed into the blues rock of Cream and Hendrix and all of that stuff that followed goes directly through that man.
Yeah, there was him and a couple of other people that we talk about in the interview that really were instrumental in building up the British blues scene, and from there it really spread. But anyway, that's enough of us. Let's get to the chat that I had with John Mayall a few years ago on This Sonic Obsession.
John, I've always been impressed by the fact that you have been recording and you've been touring constantly since you left art design, moved to London, and became a full-time musician. What keeps you going?
Well, that's what my career is, playing music, and it's a very happy situation that something you would do for a hobby has become my life's work.
But there have been no stops or gaps along the way. It's been constant, and that's almost unheard of, I think, for a musician, isn't it? I think so.
Well, I guess it is. I haven't really thought about it in those terms, but every year since I started, it's always been a pretty full calendar.
You've got about 57, I think 58 official albums.
Right.
Do you have a favorite?
Not really, because albums, to me, that if I make a record, it's a testament to the times that I was involved in. So it's like a musical diary of my life, really.
So you look at every album as a different chapter in your book, your career, the book of your career.
Yeah, if I get an opportunity to make an album, I kind of round up material that's relevant to my life at the time, and just put it all together in that respect. So, looking back on them, that's how it seems to be.
Do any stand out, though? Are any real gems in your crown?
It would be hard for me to judge it in that light, they all mean a lot to me, so, I'm very, very thrilled to get the opportunity to make an album, because it sort of marks the passage of where we're at.
A lot of people look at you and Alexis Corner, Cyril Davies, people like that, as the people who really brought blues to England, to Great Britain, and exposed it to a lot of people. How would you describe your role in exposing a lot of people to blues?
That's pretty hard to judge, really, except that I've kept on going. Of course, Alexis and Cyril are no longer with us, but they did kick off the whole movement, really, and they laid the groundwork for the British blues scene.
So, do you look at yourself as following in their footsteps?
Not necessarily. We're all part of the same musical family, really, and that's the way I look at it.
You've also been are known for nurturing a lot of talent over the years. Eric Clapton, Peter Green, Ainsley Dunbar, Mick Taylor. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I'm curious to know, when a lot of people like that were in your band and they decided to leave, did you actually give them a push to leave and move out on their own, or was it them, or a little bit of both?
Well, you are talking about just the first 3 or 4 years of my career, really. I mean, when we had Eric for a year and Peter Green for a year and Mick Taylor for a little bit longer than that. But I mean, those people were right at the very beginning. So, it was all new to us at that particular time. And, when they found that they had developed enough that they wanted to go their own way, that's what they did. So, it was just a thing that happens.
Later on, there were people like Coco Montoya, Walter Trout, so kind of the same situation for them?
Yeah, exactly. It's always been that way. I can't think of any instances where anybody was actually fired. So, it's just a case of providing the right groundwork for a lot of musicians, and until they found that they could go out on their own.
Wasn't Peter Green actually let go and then brought back?
Yeah, he was in for a week when Eric did his Grecian exhibition. He left for a while, but I had promised that if he came back, that he could have the job back. So, unfortunately, Peter Green had just answered the call and was in for about a week before Eric came back, and so he had to make way. So after Eric finally did leave to form Cream, Peter obviously was the first choice that I had, and I had a little difficulty persuading him that it was okay, that he wasn't going to get replaced.
So that started quite a good relationship after that, then.
Yeah, it was very good. So it was a very, very healthy year. We did a Hard Road album, and then it was just the starting point for when he joined with Mick Fleetwood and John McVie and put Fleetwood Mac together.
You've maintained a really good relationship with a lot of the guys a lot of people that were in your band over the years too, haven't you? Because I mean, there was the Liverpool show from a few years ago. Mick Taylor joined you, Clapton joined you, Henry Lowther joined you. While Chris Barber was there. So you really have kind of kept the ties with those folks too, haven't you? A lot of them anyway.
Yeah, it was just a case of who was around at that particular time when we put the thing together to do that 70th birthday concert, and they were available and very glad to come and have a jam with us.
You had a lot of fun that night, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of fun every time we get up on stage. That's the whole nature of the music.
Keep talking up about some of the folks that were in your groups over the years. Let's say you were the teacher and they were the students. Do you have any favorite students from the past?
I don't look at it in that sort of light. If they're in my band, whoever they are, it's all part of the same unit, and we create the music together.
What about your role? I mean, when the name John Mayall comes up, when it comes in relation to blues, what kind of role do you think you have played, not just in exposing people to blues, but moving blues along, making it stronger, making it more vibrant? Because as we were talking earlier, your Crusade album, basically you were urging a lot of people to go on a crusade for blues. Do you think you've accomplished that?
I suppose I have, really. I mean, it's just always been my role in in my musical life to spread the word, and I guess it's added up to something.
Do you think that your voice has gotten stronger over the years when it comes to blues? That people actually pay you more respect?
I think it's stronger. It's a little more accurate, I suppose, than some of the times.
You play guitar, you play harp, and you play keyboards.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're doing two things at once.
Mm-hmm.
Is that difficult?
No, it comes pretty natural to me. It's usually, keyboard and harmonica go together really well. So you have a lead instrument and you have the chord. So I don't even think about it now. It just seems natural.
Just going back to when you decided to leave a career in advertising and move into blues full time, I guess that was really on the suggestion of folks like Alexis Corner and Cyril Davies, wasn't it? When you took that jump to move to London?
Yeah, I didn't take the jump right away. For the first year that I went professional, I kept my day job. So as the work in the clubs was mainly in the London area, and outlying suburbs, it was possible to do that. So for the first year, I wanted to see how it goes, so I didn't give up the day job in graphic art. So,
but you also maintained that because you did some of the design for some of your album covers as well.
yeah, I mean that art training is what I thought I was destined to do for the rest of my life. So I mean, it came in handy in the design for the album covers.
You still do some of it?
To a certain degree.
But it's not something you spend a lot of time at or anything.
Not really, no. I mean, but we don't get a chance to make an album very often. So we have three CDs coming out later this year, which I put together of old tapes that I had around, which are quite historic. There's stuff from the Turning Point band, and there's a whole lot of the Coco Montoya years and a whole lot of Buddy Whittington years, so people should watch out for those ones, historic live recordings. So that'll be available on our website, in November.
Do you find it difficult these days to get some of the newer stuff that you decide to release to get out there, to to get it distributed to people?
Well, we're still contracted with Eagle Records, and the last album we did for them was the album Tough. And we haven't heard exactly when they want the next album, which should be their final one on their contract. So in the meantime, I have released Live in London, which again is available on the website, and so there you go.
Just going back to art and music, a lot of British musicians, whether they be blues musicians, pop musicians, whatever, started off in art school, moved on into music full time. And I've always been curious about the connection, why there seemed to be a nurturing, I guess, in art school for so many musicians. Yeah. Why do you think that is? Because that's where you started.
I have no idea what the connection is. It seems kind of interesting, I suppose, but I've got no answer for that one.
Do you think that people went to art school just as a way to maybe, I don't know, before they went out into the world searching for a career, art school was a step from public school or private school and then moving on into music?
I've no idea, really. If you have a natural talent for something, you go in that direction. So art was always, my favourite subject, as that's where I went.
The art, music, you mean?
Art.
Art and then into music.
Well, music was a hobby, so that's second place.
When you were young, you had a fascination with living in tree houses. How did that come about?
I just built a tree house, so that was kind of something that we did as kids.
But you continued to live in one as an adult, didn't you?
Yeah. When I came out of the army, and I lived up there in the tree, yeah.
So can you explain why you enjoyed it so much?
No, not really. Rather not dwell on that. It's kind of irrelevant, but
What do you think you have passed along to a lot of the musicians that have played with you over the years, in terms of a love for the music or improving their musicianship?
I can't really judge that. I mean, I provide a groundwork for a lot of people to express themselves through the music, and they've taken it over from there.
Are there some of the things that you look back on and you say, well, I'm really proud that I was involved with this person or that person and how they've moved along?
Well, I'm proud of all of it, really. I'm just very thankful that I can earn a living at what I enjoy doing, you know.
So you see yourself continuing right till the end?
Well, as long as I've got the health and energy to do it, of course I will.
Is it difficult? Do you find it as you get older?
Well, I haven't found any kind of problems with it yet, no.
One thing I did want to ask you, John, is it seems that your voice over the years has gotten stronger, whereas a lot of people, when they get older, their voice gets weaker. Do you feel that way?
Yes, I'm very thankful it is that way, you know, so I guess it's, you know, the work you do vocally is, it all adds up. You know, I don't know how to explain it, but, you know, I'm thankful that it is that way.
Do you have any idea why?
No idea at all. Just leave a healthy life and just keep on going.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Okay.